What's up, YouTube? Guess what? We're back. We got another on the road video to do today. This time I'm heading up to Bonnie Lake. You guys don't have a clue where that's at. Well, some of you might. Do another friend of mine, Aaron Feeney, and he's a small hobbyist, 3 or 4 tanks. His biggest tank, he's got some Malawi cichlids, and then another tank with some Central American cichlids and some live bears. So I'm excited to see how that combination is going. But anyway, stay tuned. It'll be about a half hour. Almost there, YouTube. Just want to let all of you know I'm sick and tired of this freaking rain. But anyway, I'm excited that I'm on my way to another house to continue my on the road. So let's continue on the road. Well, YouTube, here we are at Aaron's place, and when he gets in here, we will have him sit down and chat and talk to us about what he has going on. But until then, we're going to take a look at his tanks. The first one we just took a look at was his African tank. It's a 240 glass. Now we're looking at a 120 biotope tank there, and a looks like a 75 more of native species here. But anyway, Aaron, how you doing?
Hello. How's everybody?
We're going to actually take some time, and I'm just going to say it again. I'm going to let you guys all know that I screwed up. Aaron and I already went through this. Went through everybody in this tank, and it was actually pretty good, but I don't know what the hell happened, and I had it on pause again. So those of you that have been following my series have heard me make that complaint a few times.
I think you need to have another giveaway contest.
Yeah, a giveaway. I think a giveaway where you guys actually give me a decent camera, because obviously I don't know how to operate this thing. So we went through all these fish and plants and surprises, and now we're going to do it again, and Aaron's going to love me for it. So, all right, Aaron, let's try this again.
Okay, let's see who's swimming by. All right, well, right in the middle again, we've got my care species, my blue dolphin, Malawi dolphin. I don't do Latin names, guys, so forgive me. We do a little bit of that, but not much. So the male blue dolphin there's a female in here somewhere. Pretty cool fish, very slow growers. Nice big yawn over there. I've had him for a couple of years, and his mate is even smaller, and I've had her longer. They just don't grow fast. Here we've got my Rampachroma species. They look like little torpedoes, little silver and gold torpedoes, Malawi barracuda. Pretty cool little species, Rampachroma's something or other. We haven't identified them any further than that. Kind of unique. There's a couple of places around, or a couple of people that have them in the hobby, but neat fish. They don't eat a lot of anything. They chase each other around more than anything else. Got a few random mbuna floating around through here. You'll see some yellow labs and Melanochromis auratus, little blue guy, and just some random rescues from people. A lot of my fish come from impulse buys at pet stores. Some of these I've had for quite a while and have been through several tanks. Others are rescues from people giving them away that just didn't realize what they were getting into, and I've got this nice big tank to put them in. Here's my little female dolphin right there. She's got some interesting black spots on her that weren't there a minute ago. They like to change their colors.
I was going to say, yeah, I just noticed that.
Something's got her stirred up. You know, maybe she's going to fight with somebody else in the tank here. Nice sunshine peacock right there. Nice blue face. Ooh, there's the big guy. Petrotilapia williamsoni. Big blue lip dude in the back. He's extra large. I don't see him that large very often. Another blue guy up front here is Jacksoni, Competochromis jacksoni. Nice guy. We're trying to fatten him up a little bit. He's got a A little bit of a sunken belly yet, but he's only lived here about a month, so we'll get him going as he spends some more time eating. Oh, here's a nice one in front. That's I call them Malawi earth eaters. I cannot say the Latin name at all. It's really long. Lethrinops is the species. If you're interested, look that up and it'll get you a little further, but really long family name. Pretty cool. Nice sand sifters. They really pound into the sand when they're digging deep. There's my Protomellus spilitonus up in the back. Nice big yellow guy. He's the oldest fish in the tank, or he's lived in my tanks the longest. Some of the older groups of this fish have lived in everything from a 135 in my basement to a 75 in the living room over to the 240. As I change and improve my tank setups, some of my favorites get to move around a little bit, and I think this is the final one. I don't think I'm going to do any bigger than this.
Oh, come on.
Well, maybe. We'll see when Sean starts getting rid of some stuff.
Yeah, hopefully never.
That's right. And somewhere here, there we go. Nice black one in the back with the red fins. That's my Capitochromis borlei red fin candango. Hopefully I said all that right. Pretty cool. I got a pair of those at the same time as the big Protomellus. Those are probably the 3 oldest fish in the tank, the Williamsoni's close. And other than that, they've all been tank additions and collections. The nice thing about this group is that I've been able to add to it, onesie twosies. A lot of times you don't get to do that with big centrals and stuff. You try to put together a group right away and let them grow up together. I tried that here, but it gets expensive. I've been fortunate. I've been able to add small groups of fish at a time and been pretty successful. As the group got large enough, they just didn't seem to notice the new guys so much. There's a nice OB peacock over there.
I see it kind of claiming that little planted area
Yeah,
for its own.
He definitely defends that corner pretty heavily. Don't know why. I don't know what action he's got going over there, but he's decided that that's his corner.
So no issues with the plants and the cichlids and the higher pH or anything?
No, in this case, not really. I don't. I don't monitor pH. I do have a bag full of crushed coral inside one of my filters in there that keeps the hardness and the pH comfortable for the fish, and I do not test for it anymore. And the plants themselves seem to be fine. I've picked hardier plants. I've been told that these plants would taste bitter to fish, but I have not tested that theory myself.
Oh, you should.
I pick a Nubius, Java fern, and a Bulbitis fern over here. They all seem to do well, and none of these fish pick on it. I have had other plants in this tank. Some Vallisneria, nice grass-like plant. These guys munch it down until it's about an inch high. That plant can grow 3 or 4 feet long, but these guys keep that stuff trimmed. So I took all that out, but they don't seem to mess with these hardier, easy grow plants. If you're into plant stuff at all, these are all the easy grow plants that people suggest for beginners and stuff like that. And I mean, some of these clumps of Anubias I got going here are just massive. I mean, that's a ton, and they're old. This little rock right here, I had 2 little Anubias leaves on that rock 2 years ago, and now it's just this massive clump of stuff. And I just put them in a tank. I strap them to a rock with a rubber band and leave them alone.
They
leave them and forget about them.
They root within the rock? Is that how they attach?
Yeah, there's a rhizome on there, and then you'll see little roots. This fish is going to get in our way, but there's little roots that hang down off of those rhizomes, and they'll anchor to rocks. I like using lava rocks and chunks of wood, the big clumps on a hunk of wood. I think I bought it at Aquarium Paradise 3 or 4 years ago with a couple little tufts of Anubias on there, and now
Nice.
It's completely filled in. That little tiny lava rock clump in the front is just a small, not even a tennis ball size rock, golf ball size rock, strapped to a little tiny rhizome with 4 or 5 leaves on it, and throw it in the bottom of a fish tank for a couple of years, and it grows.
That's awesome.
I don't have specific plant lighting on this tank. They're just the plant guys call them crappy Marineland LEDs because they just don't do much for their plants, but they do fine for what I'm growing. I feel I've got a pretty good combination. You don't see a lot of guys doing wood and plants in an African tank. I've seen diving photos of Lake Malawi and things like that. There ain't no plants in there. I mean, there's very few places that have a lot of plants. When you're seeing Malawi fish on videos and stuff, it's all rocks, but I like the looks of it, and it seems to work. So
Yeah, no. It's your tank, and if it's working for you and it's working for them, everybody looks nice and happy. I mean, who cares what you got in the tank as long as the water itself is thriving and the fish are thriving within it. So earlier you had opened the bottom of this thing with some kind of fancy looking pool filter in here.
I'll show you what I've done.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so over here, recently I was running an FX5, just a single FX5 fluval on a 240 gallon tank, and if you know anything about all this stuff, that's not enough. There's an awful lot of fish in here. That's just not quite enough filtration. That's all we're running right now because this other filter is loud. The FX5 did the job for quite a while. Started looking at other solutions. Do I want 2 or 3 FX5s? Do I want the big giant Eheim? You know, they're very expensive, so looking around, I found online for 75 bucks a swimming pool filter. These are designed to replace that cheap little filter that comes with the Walmart Intex swimming pool. For 75 bucks I get a sand filter. What it does is it pushes the water through a sand bed, not a fluidized bed like you guys will find if you go doing online research right now and look up fish tank filters. You use that fluid bed. This is different. This actually pushes it through a sand bed using the particles of sand as filtration. So anything that fits through the gaps in the sand stays in the water. Anything that doesn't fit gets filtered out. This thing clogs up for me fast. Using the pool filter sand. So I'm thinking I'm going to switch it out to lighter grain gravel, maybe fish tank gravel, something like that. Get something a little bigger that's not going to clog up. If I can get it to clog in a week instead of in 3 days, I'll be pretty satisfied. It's got valves for backflush and things like that, so there's no taking media out, rinsing it off and doing all that stuff. You backflush it, pumps it right out onto the deck. I can drain about 100 gallons out of this thing in a minute and a half. It's pumping through an 1.25 inch hose and it moves a lot of water.
Nice.
It's 2,400 gallons an hour. So on a 240 gallon tank, I'm cycling it 10 times an hour. And for the amount of fish and fish poop running in this thing, that's not a bad plan.
Yeah, exactly. No. That's I've seen quite a few videos on YouTube and on the internet where guys have built ponds. And that's what they do is they run it through a gravel bed, and that was their filtering.
You know what? When I was doing the research, there's a company out there selling pond filters that are exactly the same thing, but they don't sell you the sand for the media. Mm-hmm. They have a plastic media that they use that leaves the right size gaps. They also sell gravel media. That's where I read about the gravel was from the pond guys.
Nice.
So you can regulate your micron rating of your filter by changing the size. It's the 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot brick. This is I call it a Central American biotype. I've got a couple of, I've actually got 3 Cryptoheros myrnae. They're a Central American small size cichlid related to the Honduran red point, which is another Cryptoheros type fish. They're hiding up in the log right now. They've had a lot of attention today. So there's a male and a female pair and another small female floating in here. You'll see a couple of swordtails swimming through here. Those are kind of a unique sword. They're not the green swordtail, but they're a Xiphophorus helleri, and Rio Otopo is the collection point there. So I've got a small group of those in there with it. So I've got live bears and cichlids together. From what I understand, there is a potential that they could inhabit similar waters or possibly the same waters. They may run into each other in the wild. So I thought, well, what the heck? That's kind of cool. I've got some Amazon sword plants stuck in a log. I've been told that's pretty unique. People don't typically do that, but I figured if a mother tree in the forest around here can grow another tree out of it, why can't I grow swords out of a rotten log? And they've been in there for over a year and thriving well, so my little experiment worked, and it tends to get people's attention.
Exactly, yeah. I like it.
It's just different. It just looked like the right thing to go in that hole in the log to me.
Yeah, that is. I like how you got that log set up right there as a centerpiece, and then all the little nooks and crannies behind it, and then the the different stage levels of your substrate there with the rock. That really looks sharp too.
Yeah, this is a recent setup. This has only been set up maybe 6 weeks at the most. There's the male and female pair coming out of that log in the corner, if you can see them.
Yeah, I was eyeballing them earlier when you were talking about the plants in that corner, and we were listening to you, I promise, but we were watching them.
Yeah, that's okay. They've really staked out that hole in the log, and then that cave in the center. Immediately upon entering this tank, the male dug out all that sand pile in the front was not my landscaping. That's his landscaping. There's a hole over at the corner by the log. He actually has a back door to that cave. He dug out the back side as well, and he can get in and out of the back of that cave back in front.
So does that female in him inhabit that cave as well, or does he have something else?
Yeah, no,
or he just goes over there. That's his place.
It can be both.
Okay.
They both spend time in either one. I have not seen them lay eggs. I check with flashlights and all of that. They seem to be going through the motions, but I just don't know if they're there yet. There they are in that hole again.
Yeah, she sure looks like.
That's their spawning color. They're not that dark unless they're playing that game.
Nice. She looks nice. I like her. I love the blue eyes.
It's pretty cool. It was a friend of mine gave them to me. He's keeping other Cryptohero species, and he decided not to focus on these. And I had the room, and I kind of fell in love with them when I saw them.
I don't blame you. That's a cool little fish. And for some of you out there that that follow me on YouTube and also Facebook. And I've had several people ask, not just myself, but just in general, hey, I've got a 125, I've got a 120, 100. What can I put in it? Can I put in, some Midas? And so we're always telling you, no, it's probably not a good idea. Here's a perfect idea for a 120, 125 gallon tank. Turn it into something cool like this, a little biotope. Throw in some live bearers. Throw in some of the smaller cichlids. From his.
Ooh, I think she's laying eggs. She's upside down in that hole.
Is she?
Yeah, she's got her belly up on top of that inside of that cave.
Oh, let's hope so.
Sorry to interrupt, but that was exciting.
That's okay. But yeah, guys, these little Cryptoheros are cool little species. Even the what else are they? I mean, isn't the Panamints, Sagica, aren't those all Cryptoheros as well?
Possibly, there's a bunch.
Yeah.
I know mine are the Cryptoheros myrnae. They're also a care species. There's Cryptoheros nanolodius. A friend of mine's got some of those. And then there's
yeah, her tube's down. Look at that thing.
Yep. And then there's the Honduran red points are another Cryptoheros. I don't know the exact species, but yeah, that was interesting. That's the first time I've noticed that she was upside down in that log. I think she's placing eggs on the roof of that cave.
Oh yeah, her tube's down. So yeah, she's definitely spreading the eggs.
Oh, this could be cool. Again, care species. I got care species in the African tank just by accident. I like the fish. I picked these up not knowing they were cares either, but I did go ahead and register those with cares, which is the group of people that's kind of encouraging us to keep and breed and share endangered or vulnerable wild species so that we can continue this kind of hobby without destroying what's left in the wild.
Exactly. Without pulling out anymore, let's keep them fresh and clean and pure here.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So I'm real new to that. Other than just signing up and saying, hey, I have these, I haven't done anything. Once these things spawn, then I'll get a hold of that group and see about sharing the wealth on some of these things if we can get them going. See, now he's in there hanging out with them.
Yeah, we've been watching them while you talk. Her colors, I love those. Definitely sparkling with the gold there.
They're usually more muted. The gold is usually brighter, and the dark across their back is usually not as dark as that. And then when they get excited like this, her belly blackens up, and she gets that black spot, and the gold starts getting really shimmery. They look really good when they're this active. This log was in a 125-gallon 6-foot tank right here in the same location in my living room. When we took that down to put in this 120, I had to take everything out. I took the log out and I set it out on the front deck. It was 20 degrees outside. Set it out on the front deck for a couple hours. These plants aren't doing good at this point. They're wilting a little bit. They're kind of cold. Brought it in the house for a little while. Covered them with damp towels and things like that to try and save them. They're still a little rough. Got this all set up, filled up with cold water. Put everything back in it. Put the log in it. Did my landscaping and things like that. Out swims a super red pleco that's looking a little cold.
Out of the log.
Yep. He had been hiding in the log the whole time, out on the deck in 20-degree weather, or sheet, whatever it is, and spent another hour or two warming back up in the house without water, in the log. And it was real easy to catch because it was pretty lethargic, and I threw it in another tank with the proper temperature, just boom, dropped it in there, and couple months later, it's still alive and fine and back living in this tank.
That's awesome.
I saw it an hour ago. It came out right before you were here. It was out on the logs. So.
Well, that is cool. That is a cool little story there. So here on the left, what do we have here? A little native species tank?
We do. We have my 75-gallon. Really, it's a planted tank. It's kind of a catch-all. You know, I got a bunch of plants going on in here. This thing had about 1,000 guppies in it, and I may be exaggerating a little, but I kid you not. This thing was thick with guppies. Somebody gave me 2 largemouth bass and a catfish. A week later, I have no guppies. So it's pretty cool. These largemouth bass have about doubled in size while they were eating guppies for a week. They wiped out a population pretty quickly. Pretty aggressive. You drop food in there and they're after it. They'll eat anything you put in there. It can be a worm, it can be a fish, it can be a pellet, it could be a chunk of squid. It doesn't matter. If they think it's food, they're going to hit it first and figure it out later. Big old catfish hiding in there. Not real big, but it's just a brown bullhead. I'm not sure how big he's going to get. He's another native species. You know, these things will live all over the United States. They plant bass in all kinds of lakes that they don't belong in, and
Right.
you know, it's a sport fish thing. I mean, this guy's looking at me and want me to feed him. You know, he knows where the food comes from at this point.
Well, sweet. That's awesome there, Aaron. I'm glad you allowed us to come into your home and view these beautiful tanks. They look really nice. That's it, YouTube. I do have another series set up here pretty soon. I shouldn't say series, another video. And this time I'm going to visit a gentleman that contacted me through Facebook, who has also watched some of my videos, and he lives about an hour from me, and he's got 20 some odd tanks, both Central and South American cichlids, as well as African and Madagascaran, if that is such a word, Madagascaran. But he's really into these care species as well. So hopefully we can get that hooked up here in the next couple weeks. Thanks for tuning in, YouTube. Have a good one.